Welcome back to another Friday edition of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and we're in the heart of the playoffs for football, so I'll get right into it. To start, I figured I would recap the wild card round of the NFL. Starting last Saturday, the Los Angeles Chargers traveled to Houston to face the AFC South winning Texans. It was a low-scoring first half, and with 58 seconds remaining, the Chargers were holding on to a 6-0 lead. In Houston's first 5 drives, they fumbled once, C.J. Stroud threw an interception, and the Texans were forced to punt 3 times. It was not a great start for Houston. The tide shifted with 5 minutes remaining in the half. C.J. Stroud led the Texans on an impressive 99-yard drive, which ended with a 13-yard touchdown pass to Nico Collins, and the Texans took a 7-6 lead. Houston also managed to squeeze in a field goal right before halftime to bring the score to 10-6. The second half is when the floodgates opened. 3 second-half interceptions thrown by Justin Herbert, including one for a touchdown, dug the Chargers into a deep hole. One bright spot of the second half for the Chargers was the 86-yard touchdown pass from Herbert to Ladd McConkey, but overall, the deficit was just too large to overcome. Houston held on to upset the Chargers 32-12. Herbert finished the day with 4 interceptions to just 1 touchdown pass and was sacked 4 times by the Texans' swarming pass rush. The Texans move on to the divisional round for the 6th time, while they'll try to advance to the AFC Championship game for the first time in franchise history. But in their way stands top-ranked reigning champ Kansas City Chiefs, who are fresh off of their first-round bye. In the later slate on Saturday, the Baltimore Ravens dominated their rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in every sense of the term. The Ravens jumped out to a 21-0 lead before halftime behind the most dominant running game in the NFL with the combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Jackson picked up 81 yards on the ground, as well as 2 passing touchdowns. Derrick Henry continued to prove he's one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, as he ran for a whopping 186 yards and 2 touchdowns, some of which included his signature stiff arm. Baltimore outrushed Pittsburgh 299-29. Russell Wilson made the scoreboard look respectable with 2 late-game touchdown passes, but the Ravens remained in control all game on their way to a 28-14 win and a ticket to the divisional round. In that next round, the Ravens are set to face the Buffalo Bills in what will probably be the game of the year. Buffalo made it to this point after their 31-7 win over the Denver Broncos on Sunday morning. The Broncos jumped out to a quick start when Bo Nix connected with fellow rookie and former college teammate Troy Franklin on a 43-yard touchdown strike. This was the first rookie-to-rookie touchdown pass in NFL history, and the Broncos were quickly up 7-0. Unfortunately for Denver, this would be the only points they would score for the remainder of the day. MVP frontrunner, quarterback Josh Allen, completed 20 of 26 passes for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also rushing for 46 yards. James Cook dominated the run game for Buffalo, tacking up 120 yards and a touchdown as the Bills literally ran past the Broncos for their spot in the divisional round. Cook became Buffalo's first player to top 100 yards rushing in a playoff game since Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas had 158 yards rushing in a 1995 wildcard playoff win over Miami. Allen increased his playoff total to 23 passing touchdowns, breaking the franchise record of 21 held by Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. The rest of the weekend was occupied by the NFC. In the matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and Green Bay Packers, the Packers got off to a nightmare start when Keyshawn Nixon fumbled the opening kickoff after taking a huge hit by Philadelphia's Oren Burks. Philly recovered and scored 3 plays later, taking a very quick 7-0 lead. After swapping some field goals, the Packers finally got on the board after back-to-back tough runs by Packers running back Josh Jacobs. The score sat at 19-10 with the Eagles in the lead, but it was anyone's game. Unfortunately for Green Bay, Philadelphia would kick one more field goal, but that would be the end of the scoring for the Eagles, and they would hold on to win 22-10. Saquon Barkley led the way with 116 rushing yards, and Jalen Hurts threw for 2 scores to secure the Eagles' spot in the divisional round. The Eagles now had to wait until Monday night to see who they would be facing in the next round. Before that happened, though, we had an electric shootout between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Washington Commanders on Sunday night. Both teams swapped touchdowns and field goals and punts and turnovers, and amidst all the chaos, the score remained tied at 10-10 at halftime. Baker Mayfield threw his first touchdown of the night to Mike Evans in the second quarter, then tossed his second to Bucky Irving to take a 17-13 lead in the third quarter. With just under 12 minutes remaining in the game, the Bucs had the lead and the ball. All they needed to do was drain the clock and score one more time, and the game was just about out of reach for the Commanders. However, disaster struck when an apparent miscommunication led to Mayfield fumbling the snap, and the Commanders would recover. Just 4 plays later, rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels tossed his second touchdown of the game, this time to Terry McLaurin, to put the Commanders in front 20-17. With just 4 minutes remaining in the game, the Bucks put together a solid drive of their own and kicked the game-tying field goal. This is when Jaden Daniels would shine. Daniels led the Commanders on a 10-play drive that ate up all the remaining time on the clock. With 3 seconds left, kicker Zane Gonzalez set up for a 37-yard field goal. The kick went up, loudly clanged off the right upright, but bounced in between the goalposts and sent the sidelines into a frenzy as the Commanders beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20 in an NFC wildcard game for the franchise's first playoff win in 6,945 days. The last time Washington won a playoff game was in 2005, when, coincidentally, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wildcard round 17-10. The Commanders now are headed to Detroit to take on the top-ranked Lions. Lastly, to end the wildcard weekend, the Los Angeles Rams faced off with the Minnesota Vikings in Glendale, Arizona on Monday night. This game was moved from LA due to the devastating wildfires that have run rampant throughout the LA area. The Rams channeled all that sorrow and uncertainty into a dominant defensive performance, sacking Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold an NFL playoff record-tying 9 times to win 27-9. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford threw 2 touchdown passes, and the Rams looked comfortable from pretty much the first snap. LA drove for a touchdown on the opening drive and built a 10-0 lead by the end of the first quarter. The most exciting play of the game came in the second quarter when Rams defensive backs sacked Darnold and the ball popped loose. Rookie edge rusher Jared Verse scooped it up and ran 57 yards for a Rams defensive touchdown. The Rams dominated every aspect of this game, and their efforts now propel them into the divisional round. Here's the NFL schedule for this weekend. On Saturday, the Texans and Chiefs will get the weekend started at 1:30 p.m. on ESPN. Following that game, the Commanders and Lions will kick off at 5 p.m. on Fox. Then, on Sunday, the Rams and Eagles will get the action started at noon on NBC. To end the divisional round, we'll see the Ravens and Bills at 3:30 p.m. on CBS. Enjoy all of these highly anticipated matchups to see what the final 4 remaining teams will be for the conference championships next weekend. In the college football playoffs, only 2 teams remain: Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State cruised to wins of 14-plus points over Tennessee, Oregon, and Texas to make the title game, while Notre Dame beat Indiana, Georgia, and Penn State on its path. Now these college football powerhouses will go head-to-head with a chance at history on the line after playing each other in the regular season the last 2 years. Ohio State only had 2 losses this season to Michigan and Oregon, but have absolutely ran through teams since their loss to Michigan. Notre Dame's only loss was an early, down-to-the-wire upset by Northern Illinois, but since then, the Irish have been on a relentless winning streak. Both teams have 2 of the top-ranked defenses in the nation. Ohio State claims the top spot for the best defensive leader in college football. The Buckeyes led the nation in points allowed with just 12.2 points per game, and in yards allowed with only 251.1 per game. Additionally, the team has a recorded 51 total sacks, which ranks 3rd in the country. Notre Dame's not far behind, boasting an impressive defense. The Fighting Irish rank number 2 in points allowed with 14.3 points per game, and number 9 in yards allowed with 298.3 yards per game. While their 38 total sacks ranked 17th nationally, their disciplined and aggressive play has made them a tough opponent for opposing offenses. Despite their defensive prowesses, both teams possess dynamic offenses as well. Ohio State quarterback Will Howard has thrown for 3,779 yards, with star freshman receiver Jeremiah Smith being his favorite target. Notre Dame's Riley Leonard has also been a standout, tallying 2,606 passing yards and 866 rushing yards. Running back Jeremiah Love leads the team with 1,121 yards, and all this to say this will be a back-and-forth chess match battle of top defenses and talented offenses. The national championship game kicks off on Monday, January 20th at 4:30 p.m. on ESPN. I think I've made my case as to why this is one of the most important weekends in football, so don't miss out on any of the action starting tomorrow with the NFL playoffs and ending on Monday with the conclusion to the college football season. Come right back next week for more news, updates, and highlights from all around the sports world, as I'll try to cover some things out of the realm of football. Anyways, as always, thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.